Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. Another heated debate as Democratic presidential hopefuls faced off tonight.
The 7 presidential candidates squared off on stage in South Carolina just days before the state's primary.
Competitors trying to slow the momentum of the emerging frontrunner Bernie Sanders.
CBS correspondent Natalie Brand joins us live from Charleston tonight with the very latest. Natalie.
Jeanelle, Russ, hello to you from Charleston. The stakes tonight really could not have been higher given the timing of this debate. As expected, candidates on stage went right after Bernie Sanders and raised the issue of electability, one of the topics that received the most time tonight, and that's because Saturday's primary here could really begin to shape the next phase of this race.
I'm hearing my name mentioned a little bit tonight.
Right from the start, Bernie Sanders took fire from all sides.
Let's talk about what it adds up to. Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, I'll tell you exactly what it adds up to. It adds up to 4 more years of Donald Trump.
The senator from Vermont recently emerged as the frontrunner among Democrats, especially after Saturday's commanding victory in Nevada, a win that's prompted new scrutiny of his record.
Walking distance here is Mother Emanuel Church. 9 people shot dead by a white supremacist. Bernie voted 5 times against the Brady bill.
Polls show Joe Biden with a slight edge in South Carolina, but the former vice president needs a strong showing in Saturday's primary to catch up in the delegate count.
If you don't win South Carolina, will you continue in this
I will
race?
win South Carolina.
This was also the final debate before Super Tuesday, just 1 week from now, when 14 states will vote, contests that will no doubt narrow the field.
Progressives have got one shot, and we need to spend it with a leader who will get something done.
You have to learn how to work with both sides of the aisle, and then you can get stuff done.
We need a campaign of energy and excitement. We need to have the largest voter turnout in the history of the United States.
A CBS News poll finds defeating President Trump is a top priority for South Carolina Democrats, but less than 50% of voters are confident Democrats will nominate a candidate who can do that.
Now, one new topic that we heard about tonight was coronavirus. Since this is a health issue that remains in the headlines on this topic, candidates were more in agreement in criticizing the Trump administration's response and proposed cuts to agencies, including the CDC. Former Vice President Joe Biden also used it as an opportunity to stress his past experience in dealing with pandemics, referencing the Ebola outbreak during the Obama administration and trying to prevent it from coming to the United States. The big question that remains, what did voters here and in Super Tuesday states take away from this debate, and does that change minds? Russ and Jeanelle?
All right, CBS's Natalie Brand reporting tonight from Charleston, South Carolina. Thank you.
News tonight that Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was in Montana last weekend to meet with Governor Steve Bullock.
Now, according to an article from online news magazine Politico, multiple sources confirm that meeting happened. This as Democrats still try to convince Governor Bullock to run for the Senate this year. Bullock has repeatedly said he's not running for the position to challenge Republican Senator Steve Daines. The Montana filing deadline is 2 weeks away.
Several weeks ago, former President Barack Obama met with Bullock in Washington, D.C. Now, Bullock's office did not respond to requests for comments.
Well, drugs, surveillance video, and murder. Testimony is underway in the trial of a Billings man accused of killing Laura Johnson. Both the prosecution and the defense set the stage today before the witnesses took the stand. Q2's Andrea Lutz was there.
A jury is now selected and a week's worth of trial is set forth. Opening arguments really set the tone in this case, but how will this trial pan out without evidence of Laura Johnson's body? Both sides say they have a solid case.
Gregory Green sat in court in a collared shirt and glasses, at one point even smiling at our camera. All of this while Yellowstone County Prosecutor Scott Twido outlines to the jury why Green is guilty of murder. His team plans to place together puzzle pieces with the use of 24-hour surveillance video that had a direct shot at Green's home he shared with Johnson.
The evidence in this case will show you that the defendant took great lengths to cover up his murder of his girlfriend, Laura.
The state is building its case with the video, calling it their silent witness.
But he can't escape the silent witness. He can't escape that video surveillance.
The state also says Green's truck had Johnson's blood in it. Her phone was tracked with him. And then he fled town. But Green's defense team will lean on Johnson's heroin addiction history, saying she had a rocky relationship with Green and fled.
There will be no witness who will testify to knowing what happened. To knowing what happened to Laura Johnson, nobody knows. Nobody's going to testify that they saw Greg Green killing Laura Johnson.
The court heard from Billings Police Sergeant Clyde Reed and Johnson's youngest son of 5, Jonathan, who indicated he tried to ask Green about his mom's whereabouts.
I asked him where my mom was, and he had told me that she had got a letter in the mail, and that he had came home and her and all her stuff were gone, and that he had texted her twice and didn't get a response.
He says even though she had a drug problem, it's unlike his mom to just stop talking to her family.
Another interesting part of testimony is a ping on Laura Johnson's phone traced all the way back to Washington State, but 2 weeks after her disappearance. It's something that is sure to be a constant theme in this trial and something that each side will try to use to sway jurors. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And Andrea tells us the state plans to call its witnesses all week.
Well, the push to move a non-discrimination ordinance forward stopped before it even started.
Last night, City Council voted 7-4 to not discuss that idea during its August meeting. Councilwoman Penny Ronning, who introduced the latest effort, tells Q2 this is only the beginning in the fight to get the NDO passed.
Q2's Mitch Laggy was at last night's meeting and followed up today. Mitch.
Well, Russ and Jeanelle, it was a standing room only crowd last night in the Billings City Council chambers. The council heard 2 hours of public comment before further discussion on the NDO was eventually struck down. People in the crowd remained civil while giving their arguments. Mayor Bill Cole was a no vote last night. Cole said the ordinance would butt up against people's religious right to freedom. He said that would happen by legally obligating businesses to work with others that they morally disagree with. A public safety mill levy is on the horizon for Billings voters. Cole said he didn't have the bandwidth to take on the mill levy and the NDO at the same time. Councilwoman Penny Ronning said big discussions like public safety and the NDO are exactly the issues elected leaders have to tackle.
An NDO takes away from public safety? Come on. What did you sign up for? You have to have the bandwidth and the energy to have systemic conversations as well as how do we address physically the systemic problems that are in our community. Is this the end? Nope, it's just the beginning. I will absolutely be bringing this forward again. This conversation doesn't end. It's just the beginning.
In Mayor Cole's constitutional argument, he referenced several Supreme Court cases that are scheduled to be heard. Cole said the court's decision on those cases may answer the question of the legality of non-discrimination ordinances in American cities. Jeanelle?
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Well, Billings School District 2 is now prepping to put an elementary mill levy on the ballot. Now, that levy would help, but not entirely fill a $3.4 million shortfall in the elementary school budget. Superintendent Greg Upham says the district will ask for $1.6 million from taxpayers. In addition to that, the district has proposed cutting 40 full-time elementary school positions. The levy will be up for vote on the May 5th election ballot. Last year, Billings voters approved a high school mill levy for the first time in 12 years.
Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire joining us now with the first look at weather. And Bob, not much snow left on the ground here in Billings, but other places got quite a bit.
There was 2 storms last night. One on the eastern slopes of the divide that just inundated much of Red Lodge and the Beartooth, and another one in eastern Montana. Now tonight, you'll notice most of those snow showers have come and gone. We do see another one starting to make its way in towards the Missoula area. That'll be the next system that'll be moving into the mountains, and I think could bring us a chance for some snow showers tomorrow. But let me show you how well we did in other places. Look at Red Lodge Mountain. This is actually measured stuff. 14 inches of new snow there. Downtown Red Lodge had 8 inches of new snow. Ridge, that's over in Carter County in the extreme southeastern corner of the state, 8 inches of snow. They even had a winter storm warning because of that. Burgess Junction up there in the up in the mountains in Wyoming, 7 inches of snow there in the Bighorn Mountains. And also Alzada had 5 inches of snow there. So yeah, it was a massive snowstorm in the east and also to the west of us. We just kind of got ringside seats for it and didn't get much at all. We'll have the rest of your forecast in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
A Montana science teacher is one step closer to become the first National Teacher of the Year in more than half a century.
Baker High's Linda Ross, the 2020 Montana Teacher of the Year, answered questions from a panel of judges in Washington, D.C. today. She's one of 4 finalists.
Ross spent part of the week on Capitol Hill with Montana's U.S. Senators Steve Daines and John Tester discussing the importance of STEM education in the classroom. The last time a Montana teacher won the National Teacher of the Year? Back in 1956. We wish her luck.
Quite an honor just to get as far as she has already. Well, up next on your Q2 10 o'clock news, the coronavirus continues to grow around the world. Now lawmakers want the president to step up.
And later, a traumatic experience for a Montana woman and her dog on the Bozeman Pass, but tonight they're back together.
In sports, Scott and Casey get a crack at MSUB's latest 3-point record setter. You putting your money on? Not them.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.